EnergyAustralia Stadium is the venue for this round 4 clash in the National Rugby League. It is the Newcastle Knights taking on the Canberra Raiders. Let's run our eye over both teams. For the Newcastle Knights, a couple of changes in their side. Adam McDougall is out once again with a groin injury. His place taken on the wing by Anthony Quinn, and also a change in the forward pack with Ben Kennedy still there in the second row. Daniel Abraham, though, comes into the side at lock forward with Jared O'Doherty, the inclusion on the bench. The coach is Michael Hagan. For the Canberra Raiders, their starting 13 is the same one that was named earlier in the week, with Simon Wolford, the captain and the hooker, but they do have one change on the bench. For his first appearance in 2002, Ken Nagers in jumper 19 will join that interchange bench. Their coach is Matthew Elliott. Simon Wolford leads out the Raiders. As we said, they'll be trying to erase the memory of what happened here last year, where Johns ran absolutely riot. Scored those 4 tries. He hardly ran more than 10 metres in any of them. This man today will have an impact in the second row, Ruben Wiki. If he has a good game, he certainly might take a few of the Raiders forwards with him.
Well, he's an inspirational player, Ruben Wiki. Bulked up in the off-season, put on a massive 8 kilo. He's a sensational player, one of the biggest hitters in the NRL competition. And you said it, Warren, he will have to lead from the front here this afternoon if the Raiders are to cause an upset over the Newcastle side.
Out comes Captain Terrific. Andrew Johns leads the Knights on to EnergyAustralia Stadium. As we said, a very good crowd as always here. We're hoping to see something of the form he showed last week to the New Zealand fans over there. We had to watch him just take apart their side. For this particular player, Steve Simpson, the 11 for the Newcastle Knights, has been in good form and has been mentioned in dispatches, Laurie, as a player who might well make a run towards the New South Wales Origin side.
Well, look at that. The boy from Singleton, he leads with 123 metres per round. If you can get 90 metres in a game, you're doing pretty good. And look at the company that he's in front of. Nathan Highmarsh, Brad Myers, all national players, Steve Kearney as well. So he really is a vital, important part for the Knights go forward.
Tony Archer, here's the referee.
We're away, mate.
Black and white. It will be Newcastle defending the southern end of this EnergyAustralia Stadium to kick off things. A high kick-off from Andrew Johns, which bounces off the chest of Ryan O'Hara as it came from Brett Finch. Shafovsky into first receivers. They spread it very wide in the first play of the game. Michael Monaghan, the 5'8" roll this afternoon. Croker somehow got a ball away to Smith, which was forward.
Tackle 1.
Well, the Raiders really chancing their arm early on here inside their own 20 and have come up with a mistake, according to Tony Archer.
Back, yeah. Let's get in.
Might have been a tough call against them. Smith was hitting it at speed. The pass was forward, according to the referee. Johns from the base of the scrum, through Rudder to Gidley, who saunters up towards the defence, gets that arm free as always. Here's Hughes. Danger already for the Raiders. Johns now. It comes to Simpson. One-on-one. Good tackle made by Monaghan. It needed to be. Badiris, a dummy half. It comes away to Perry. He's barely a body length away from this try line. Johns, a touch inside the Joey zone. He handed it off this time to Matt Parsons. Badiris quickly to dummy half again. Here's Johns. He goes to his left-hand side to Rudder. A flat ball for Kennedy. Standing in the tackle. It takes a long time to get him to ground. Still a couple of tackles left in this set. Johns again, as they come up very quickly, but spread it past the umbrella defence, which had moved up. Parsons gets the arm free to Rudder. He puts it on the toe. That will be too big. At the first occasion, the Raiders' defence handled Andrew Johns very well.
Well, they handled him very well. That time, Johns passed the football. The Raiders' defence, very noticeable in the middle of the ruck, was very tight in that position of the football field. Andrew Johns, it's known as his own, the Joey zone.
Parsons away.
They will have to be great there this afternoon when they have the ball, the Newcastle side.
Well, just on that, Laurie, just quickly, the Raiders have got to get full value out of their sets of 6. They can't give a champion side like the Newcastle Knights possession early in their sets of 6.
A mistake here as Finch goes back to clean up. They need good ball possession inside their own half. They need to complete some sets here and not put themselves under pressure.
Release, Josh.
A couple of tackles only now left in this set of 6, and they're just outside their own 20. Shafovsky will kick early. Abraham was coming through to try and put the charge down on. A good kick from Shafovsky as well from his own 20, almost down to the Newcastle 10. Davis stepping inside Croker. Almost got away from Monahan as well.
Come on, Simon.
Gidley, a long pass. It comes midfield where Perry is and dumps it back for Abraham.
2, release, Ryan.
To the left-hand side they come again. Here's Gidley. Crossing to the other side of the park, trying to link up with Mark Hughes. He'll play it back to Johns at dummy half. Parsons takes it to them again, standing looking for another offload and dragged them with him of about 5 metres. Badderas quickly from dummy half. Wolford chops him down around the legs. A good tackle, but he was hurt in the tackle. Johns now grubbering off the chest and the hands there of Michael Monahan. The Knights will get 6 more.
Well, they're getting great value out of Matt Parsons, carting the football forward, looking to offload or getting a quick play the ball. Then Johns and Badderas can get out of dummy half. Danger signs already for the Raiders. They have to really compete at that ruck area. They've made a couple of unforced errors so far, the Raiders. They look a bit overawed by the occasion.
Simon Wolford was cut in that tackle he made on Danny Badderas as his opposite number darted from dummy half, and that will force Jason Croker to fill the role of hooker for the moment.
Just relax, right? Just relax.
Ruben Wiki, in fact, it is, who will pack in between the front rowers as the Raiders pack a man short, playing with 12 for the time being. They almost get to the try line here through Rudder. They go very close. They've had some pressure inside the 20 of Canberra in these opening minutes. Here's Perry now. The Raiders are standing tall at the moment, though. Badderas again with Johns outside him. A long pass for Kennedy with a bit of room to move in. We've got the arm free, and had Hughes been able to take it, he'd have scored untouched. Quinn picks it up. And they'll stop him about 3 metres away. O'Davis gets to dummy half. Here's Abraham. Oh, comes into a gap and just ran straight past Alan Tongue. That was way too easy.
That's one of the softest tries you'll see all season. Nothing doing there for Daniel Abraham. Just give me the ball, I'll charge onto it. Straight round Alan Tongue. See Abraham just cutting back in towards the middle of the ruck, straight through Tongue and Odell Manuel. That's too easy for the Newcastle side. If the Raiders do not pick up their defence, they could be in a lot of trouble.
Well, that's terrible defence by the Canberra Raiders, and that's their 3rd set of 6 the Knights have had.
Johns 10 in from this western touchline. The pressure of the repeat set of 6 eventually telling on the Canberra defensive line. Give up their first points of the game, and Johns will make them pay for it by converting the Abraham try. And with just on 6 minutes gone, it's the Knights 6, the Raiders nothing. Long kickoff, which comes down to Kennedy. Charge back at them.
Clear now. Hold, Raiders. Don't come forward, Ben.
Badderas will work it down the blind side. Perry got the arm free off a Raider. May have bounced forward. Joel Monahan was there. He might have come off him, or perhaps James Evans even. As now Parsons stands and offloads again. Davis got to it. In fact, he's lost it, and the Raiders have come up with it. Brett Finch was there to dive on it. So Canberra get their first chance, trying to put something on here in the Newcastle side of halfway. Comes from Tyron Smith. Monahan away to Croker. Attacks down that left-hand side for the Monahan, kicking here on just the second tackle. Alessi got through and picked it up beautifully and almost went within an ace of scoring. Monahan, who put the kick in to Finch at second receiver. It comes to Hodgson. They stop him about 5 away from the Newcastle line. Finch from dummy half, thought about going himself. Gives it off to Alan Tongue, who has to make up for that non-attempted tackle on Abraham as they go left again. Here's Shafovsky. They're up very quickly. Johns knew something was on, and then they shepherd the ball across the dead ball line very well. Good pressure from Johns. Good presence of mind from O'Davis.
It was good presence of mind, but I'm sure that they ran the Raiders Jason Croker off the football. You can't do that. Croker was coming through. O'Davis maybe not, just turning his back into the opposition.
I've got to say, there was a great little grubber put through by the 5'8" Michael Monahan. He showed a lot of foresight there, and the Raiders almost got over there.
Here's Parsons again. What a start to the game he's had. Already a number of offloads for him. Johns wide to the left-hand side. Here's Hughes up against Evans. He's been strong in defence and will be so again here. Was very good last week. A strong start to this game by dragging Hughes across the touchline.
He's a very good defensive player, James Evans. Out of the local competition. Didn't play for a number of seasons. Made his comeback to the NRL last year towards the end. And then started this season off in fine form.
You can see him trying to get the ground there. He couldn't. And, of course, the Raiders pull him over the line, and the Raiders now should get the ball.
Let's get in, Ben Kennedy, this time. Keep it in. Wait.
Alan Tongue still packing in at hooker for the Raiders with Simon Wolford off the park. And, in fact, he has gone to the dressing rooms to get that cut perhaps sewn up. Here's Odell Manuel. An early mistake last week against the Tigers, but then was strong bringing the ball out, especially from inside the Raiders' 20-metre zone, and almost scored a try at the other end of the paddock. Not been for perhaps an extra layer of boot polish. Finch turns it back inside for Wiki. Knights maintain their line across the middle of the park, and there was nothing happening for Canberra. Here's Finch. He will kick, charge down off the legs of Abraham.
He puts himself in a position where he's trying to kick the ball down. That's played out. It's Canberra's loosened feed.
They've certainly lost their way a little bit since Simon Wolford's gone off that direction out of dummy half. The crisp service. Young Brett Finch looking to put the ball downfield. Abraham charges onto the football. Correct decision there by the referee.
Yeah, that's a good call by Tony Archer. The biggest difference at the moment, Laurie, between both teams are the Raiders are playing the ball a lot slower than the Knights, and therefore the Knights' defence is really prepared for the next onslaught by the Raiders. So they've got to get up and play the ball quicker and assault that defensive line.
Schafowski taking a settler almost from dummy half as Monahan goes to Tyron Smith. And a head of steam up as he hit the line. He takes it inside the Newcastle 30. Croker and Monahan playing a lot at first receiver with Finch outside him. He's tackled midfield at the 30. Tongue. Come to the right-hand side again. Here's Wiki. Flat-footed when he took it and wasn't able to beat the tackle there of Hughes or Kennedy. Finch on the fifth and last tackle, just chipping in behind them. Davis got there in time. They're hoping to catch him playing a little more deeply. The fullback read it well.
He reads the game so well, Warren. You're spot on there. Robbie O'Davis, he knows when to play deep, knows when to play short. He identifies the kickers out of the opposition teams. He follows them. He stays on the air inside. He's a wonderful player.
Wait.
Simpson will come to Perry. Some solid contact there as he beats the first tackle. Tyron Smith dropping off at the first attempt. Johns takes it down low and then drives it over the head, or was going to be over the head of Schafowski, who showed some good presence to backpedal quickly and take it quite comfortably in the end.
Clear, Andrew.
He is playing with such confidence at the moment. Tongue. They go wide again here early inside their own 20. Finch back on the inside for James Evans, who got past Rudder before Kennedy was able to bring him down from behind.
In front, Dame.
Hodgson.
None of you, Josh. You. George is out. Stay out of it.
The Knights up inside the 10. Tony Archer penalising Josh Perry in particular. And they've done well after giving up a soft early try here to just regather.
Well, they have, and I think part of the game plan is to try and move these big Knights forwards around. They're playing from one edge to the other. They're using the football and then coming back down the middle of the park at the Newcastle side.
Thanks, Paddy. Have a look at the touchy.
So it's the Knights who lead the Raiders 6-0 as Finch turns it back for O'Hara. Wiki will take it first receiver. He'll spin in the Kennedy tackle and look for support. He'll play it just outside the 30. They've had some chances now in this part of the field. Smith tackled. Nice defensive line, very good again so far. Monahan goes down that left-hand side to his brother Joel, the taller of the two. They stop him as a trio of Knights. Oh, a simple mistake here from Brett Finch. It wasn't a great pass from dummy half. It bounced a little lower perhaps than he thought it was going to. That is an easy let-off by the Raiders. Newcastle Knights, as we take a look at that once again, to be dirty about that, Laurie.
Well, to compete against the Newcastle Knights, your skill level has to be of quality. And this afternoon, early, the Raiders have let themselves down in that department.
Gidley. He'll take it just outside his own 30, where Simpson takes the next up. He runs at Alan Tongue. Gidley had plenty of touches early on. Trademark pass of his, which comes out the back. They'll play it there, just into Canberra territory. Parsons again, another offload from Medeiros to Johns. Quickly he senses it, a chance on the left-hand side. Hughes now had Quinn outside him, couldn't get the ball to him. Here's Johns. Reverse pass for O'Davis, pouring into a gap. Runner was there. He had to die with it though, the fullback. Medeiros on the last tackle. Johns now grubbering again. Simpson will get a gift. 4 points.
We check the onside and the grounding, mate.
A beautifully weighted kick from the captain.
It's just great play. Shafosky was involved in the tackle, and Johns realising that Shafosky was tied up, placing the ball in behind the line, perhaps aiming for the post. Instead of hitting the post, Simpson was there on the spot, puts the ball down, and that is a 4-pointer to the Knights.
Confirmation from our video referee, John Gosha. The Knights flags fly high on the hill once again. It's 10-0, about to be 12. Still early days here, but there are signs already that the Knights could rack up quite a score against the Raiders. Until that set of 6, handle them fairly well. Shafosky. Long kick off again, which O'Davis takes at his own in goal. And here's the man of the moment as far as metres and offloads. Parsons, this time they stop him. Kennedy running at Finch. Tongue was also there. What a forward pack they have. Perry, they work it quickly, trying to find some numbers down the short side again. Quinn did very well to force it back into the field of play, and it was into the hands of Abraham, but might have been a suggestion he might have had a foot on the line before he got the ball away. Medeiros. Here is Abraham, first try scorer in the game. Fast play the ball as Medeiros gives it to Johns. Last tackle, they'll run it. Runner, a lovely pass. Gidley on the outside of Monaghan. A kick in behind them as well for Tahu, who was coming through, and Shafosky only just beat him to the ball.
Well, that was a great attacking raid there by the Knights on the right-hand side of the field, but equally great defence there by Clinton Shafosky, timing himself to get the ball to bring it out from the Raiders' line.
Here's Wiki. Stopped by Parsons. Ryan O'Hara comes from the field as Matt Elliott goes to his bench for the first time in the game. Both front rowers getting a breather as Tongue takes it up.
They just back their skill level, don't they, the Newcastle side. Near the sideline, using the numbers down the short side, have the Raiders in trouble. That's a couple of times now that the Raiders have disappointing passes from the dummy half area.
Here's Evans chipping over the top. Finch was just in front of him when he put the kick in, so had to stay out of the play. And well, even though he made contact with Anthony Quinn, he was unable to effect a tackle. And the young winger was able to pick up a couple more metres.
It's not a good time for the Raiders that their hooker and dummy half, Simon Wolford, is off the field. A couple of times now the passing has been sloppy, and also it looks like they don't know where the ball's going. Obviously they've got to pick up their communication.
Well, they're going to have to pick it up very quickly, Laurie, because if you give a champion side like the Knights plenty of ball, more than they should have, they can absolutely nail you right throughout the game.
Rudder. But John standing wide, as is Kennedy. Comes and is tackled on this occasion by James Evans and lost the ball in the same motion. The Raiders hang on again, and Shafosky this time will come away with it.
Well, one of the shining lights for the Raiders so far has been the defence of James Evans. Mark Hughes on a number of times tried the outside. He's been driven into the ground, and that time Ben Kennedy trying to take him on one-on-one. A great step by Evans.
Marcus straight.
Use the foot.
There's both front rowers off the field now, the starting front rowers that is for the Raiders. Greg Wolfgram and Terry Martin are the players who have come off the bench as they get the kick in. And Tahu will bat it backwards, keep it in the field of play. There's no Davis back there with him. Thought about going even wider still to Quinn.
How good was that from Tahu, knocking the ball in play, giving the ball to O'Davis. Then they look to link up with Anthony Quinn.
Evans, just a little high perhaps, around the shoulder. Play on though, says Archer, as Kennedy runs at Brett Finch.
No advantage. You and Brett.
The halfback penalised for being up inside the 10. So the Knights again, through the boot of Johns, will pick up some metres from the penalty.
And the biggest difference here, we see Ben Kennedy running at the line. The play of the balls from the Newcastle Knights is a lot quicker, therefore it's putting pressure on the defensive side. They've come up with that penalty, and again, the Knights have got a great opportunity. 30 metres.
22 dropout.
That's gone dead.
He's putting a bit of a show on already, or in fact trying to. Coming up with almost a banana kick there down the sideline and trying to eat off as many metres as he could. And on this occasion, he's come up with a mistake. And you get the feeling he's doing it in a canter. We might see some more tricks from Joey in a few moments' time here, as the Raiders will drop it out from their own 20 to restart it.
You've still got to be careful, the Newcastle side. They've been guilty over the last couple of seasons of having leads and then trying to play too much touch football and allowing and inviting the teams back into the contest. We saw yesterday with Parramatta the same thing happening.
Wait there, Andrew. There's your mark.
Johns will kick quickly again here, looking to find the line, and does so 20 metres out from the Raiders line. It's a Bronx cheer from this Newcastle crowd as well. They'll take it. About 15 out from their own line. That's where O'Brien plays it. Badira showing it, going himself. Davis was there with him. Perry to Rudder. Second man play for Kennedy. A number of charges at the line down this left-hand side, and they've stopped him on each occasion. Rudder now. On the run around with O'Brien. Bypasses Johns. Goes wider still to Simpson. There's Johns, who dropped it. He's human after all.
Up here.
It looked as though he was going to grab his first of the afternoon, and he put it down cold.
Well, how will the Raiders react in this situation? Johns looking as though he was going to go over and score.
Emmanuel.
Stand up.
He has it from the scrum win. He'll play it just inside his own 20. It's been a lot of the opening 22 minutes in this part of the field. Lalessi awaited Terry Martin.
Release, Ben.
Another strong performer last week.
Same way. Get up. Wait
And
there,
the Knights
Wait.
a little too slow in leaving the tackled player. And Finch will find the line just inside his own side of halfway. Simon Wolford back on the bench. We can see that cut there on the cheekbone. He has the right eye almost closed, and that is a nasty injury that happened in the opening minutes. And as we've seen so far, they have struggled with Alan Tongue filling the dummy half role as Finch goes straight through them. Comes to O'Davis, gets a pass away to Terry Martin, and the Raiders have responded.
And pick the right way.
The Knights had a golden chance at the other end of the park. With a little bit of football, the Raiders have gone a long way downfield, courtesy of a penalty. It's now 12-4.
Well, it was great work there by the young Newcastle, ex-young Newcastle ball boy, Brett Finch, playing against his idol and Andrew Johns. Lovely footwork, then on to Terry Martin in support. Great work by the back rower, backing up, scoring underneath the sticks.
So Shafovsky from right in front makes it a 6-point ball game. It's the Knights after 25 minutes who lead the Raiders 12-6 here at EnergyAustralia Stadium. Ryan O'Hara back on the bench. Ken Nagus, of course. We'll see some action at some stage this afternoon for the first time in 2002.
And it's great to see Kenny back on the bench for the Canberra Raiders. He struggled with injury as Johns. Funny looking kickoff.
Another high one into the middle of the park. Well, James Evans had a bit of trouble picking it up. We've seen some different stuff this weekend so far from the kickoff, haven't we, after what we saw from the Eels yesterday?
It's not a bad tactic, really, Warren and Laurie. You kick the ball nice and high. It allows your tips to get up there and nail the man deep in their own territory. So it's a pretty good tactic there, I thought, by the Knights.
Martin, danger to offload again there. Michael Monaghan feeds it to Jason Croker as they work it quickly to the left-hand side. Here's Tyron Smith. Turning as he got to the defensive line, looking for an offload himself. Here's Finch. Kicking. Good kick. Although Davis was favouring that side of the field and was able to take it and bring it back outside his own 30. Bright, sunny and warm afternoon here in Newcastle. Tough out there for the players in the latter stage of this first half as O'Brien goes forward up towards the 40 line.
Just on you saying that, Warren, you're spot on there. A lot of the Newcastle forwards seem to be flagging a little bit at the moment, a little bit hot, and they seem to be struggling.
And Davis had 3 or 4 goes at it before he reeled it in at the halfway line as Johns comes to Simpson. He offloads Badiris. Good hands to Johns. Put the grubber in for Gidley, who never looks as though he's going all that quickly, but really can motor.
It looked dangerous every time Johns has put that little kick in behind the line there. Shafosky on a number of occasions, though, has cleaned the ball up for the Raiders.
And Michael Monaghan to Finch as they spread it again. They've been keen to do that and really try and spread this Newcastle defensive line wide again. See what they come up with, rather, in the middle of the park as Tongue probes through that gap. And Brian was able to stop him. Finch could have easily been a penalty to the Raiders for an infringement there in the play the ball. Good kick, though, from Finch. It will force Davis almost back into his own in-goal area to pick it up. Good chase. Wiki was there with Adele Manuel. And we'll see what the Raiders come up with now in defence. The Knights are happy to spread it wide as well. Tahu there had to leave the ground to come up with that long spiral pass.
Well, it's a good sign of 2 confident football teams when they're prepared to use the football in their own 20.
Here's Johns at the advantage line quickly. It comes to Kennedy. Probing again. He can't find a way past Brett Finch.
What do you got?
Here's Clinton O'Brien. Was that the siren I heard? Is the Phantom siren here? I thought he was a Dragon fan. They've got 14 to go. They'll find the line, though. It was a false alarm. It stunned Tony Archer for a moment there.
Stay. Help up.
Here's Manuel playing it for the Raiders. Ooh, Michael Monaghan almost got away from them. Tyron Smith is about 12 short of the halfway line. Croker comes to Wolfram. He was very good last week, wasn't he? Pinch hitting.
He was pinch hitting, better known as a back. Playing up front these days, young Greg Wolfram. Doing a fantastic job for the club.
Finch with Wiki outside him. Evans just off his hip. Strong tackle from Johns. And now Finch again from dummy half kicking, and again the same result. It just does that leg break as it approached the touchline, and Davis once again was forced to play at it, and Wiki also again coming up with a good tackle to stop the fullback inside his own 10. Here's Gidley.
Geez, they're dangerous. You think they might be dead, running a couple out from dummy half, but Dearest Gidley, they get involved, and they will look to create opportunities from anywhere on the footy field.
Parsons running the much smaller Alan Tongue, with the help of others, including Wiki, was able to stop him.
Okay, thanks.
Badiris on the last tackle. They spread it again. Johns to Rudder. Oh, Paul Parser was down low and out in front of Tahu. And they're just trying to put things on and giving the Raiders good field position here.
Well, the Knights early in the game had good go forward on the back of Matt Parsons. Then they've gone away to a lateral game trying to match the Raiders. They probably feel a little bit like they want to play touch when the opposition is throwing the ball around, but they look better when they're just going forward, then relying on Johns after a quick play the ball to pick which way he wants to go.
That's one with the foot,
That's the
Tyler.
first tackle
Foot.
after Newcastle were able to rake it out in the previous tackle. Croker was almost away. Newton stopped him. Monahan comes to Alan Tongue. Runs to Clinton O'Brien. Knocks backwards. Play on Shafovsky.
Release.
Poised to
You're coming, Ben.
hit the line behind the play there. He was able to clean up on this occasion. Finch and Wiki. Back on the inside it comes. Now Finch reels away from them. Taken around the shoulder on the jumper. Here's the Lessie going wide to Michael Monahan. Stepped away from Medeiros, and Perry was almost able to get a ball away for Nagas, who's out there now. He threw it forward though. He was building though on the left-hand side for them.
Well, he did all that good work, and his just execution at the end was, he held the ball, I thought, a little bit too long. Trying to offload that ball there. Should have probably given the ball to Keen Nagas a little bit earlier. But nevertheless, he certainly is a pretty creative player, Laurie Daly.
Yeah, he's a very good player, one of the most skillful players in the club. He's been in the lower grades now for a couple of seasons, and the Raiders would definitely like to see him step up to the plate now that Mark McGlinden is no longer playing for the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Going left in. One. Off, Brett.
Here's Kennedy now down the left-hand side as they work it back up towards the halfway line. Well, doing it so easily in the first 20 minutes of this game. Really has been an arm wrestle since then, as though Davis feeds it from dummy half. Rudder to Kennedy. They've put Quinn into space. He's got Rudder backing up on the inside. A good tackle from behind by James Evans. Davis at first receiver. A long wide ball for Johns running at them. Turns it back on the inside for Newton. Vintage Newcastle. Worked a lovely play down the short side, and they finished it off.
They will back their skill, the Newcastle Knights, against any team in the competition. This time it was on the long side. With lovely hands from Kennedy to Quinn. Manuel coming in off his wing. The support play was there on Rudder. James Evans done a fantastic job. Then they look to swing the ball wide. Goes to the maestro, Andrew Johns, and turns it inside. The Raiders were sliding, not enough numbers there. One-on-one, Clint Newton, Terry Martin, too much strength.
Just as you thought, the Raiders had themselves in a good position as we approached half-time. They'd done well in the battle in the middle of the park. A very clever play on the blind side has Johns once again, converting a try from close range. It's now a 12-point buffer. The Knights 18 lead the Raiders 6. Shafovsky with the ball placed
Not early, Raiders.
very high again. Will be looking to drive it as far down the park as he can. He's had some trouble with the mound this afternoon. Couldn't get it to sit when he was trying to convert the Terry Martin got the try. And well, it is a very high sandcastle he builds. It's poised up there on one grain of sand, hardly the ball. Kicked the goal and only just stayed in the park.
That's a magic kick off there by Shafovsky.
Best part of 58 metres on the fly.
Wait now.
They've done well, the Knights, deep inside their own 10 as O'Brien brings it out across that line. Medeiros to Parsons.
3. Come on, Judge. Hold.
John Morris off the bench.
Wait here,
Gives
Raiders.
Ben Kennedy a break for the moment. As Medeiros goes to Johns. The captain with the spiral punt in for this near touchline. Shafovsky will field it inside his own 20 though.
It's a very important next 5 minutes coming up for the Canberra Raiders, Warren, you would think. But 18-6 still in the game. If Newcastle were to put points on the board just before half-time, that would certainly deflate the Raiders going in.
Wolfgram giving away plenty of size to some of these Newcastle forwards.
Good hold of the ball.
Here's Michael Monahan. Croker.
Ball. Danny.
Play it at the halfway line. Fast play the ball as well. That's what they needed as Finch kicks under some pressure as well. Medeiros was getting up in his face. He didn't pick up too many metres. Just a little touch from each player to say there was nothing in it. A little bit of contact after he got the kick away, but that's all.
Well, it's just on the two players, two teams when they've got the ball in their hands. The Raiders for mine are standing flat, and they're getting the ball from a standstill position, and they're trying to gain some momentum. They're not getting that much momentum over the advantage line, where the Knights,
Let's go. Get in, Greg.
you look at the big guys, they
John.
receive the ball and they're developing some momentum and making good
Let it hung
yardage.
in. Get it up. Get it up. 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 In you go.
And I think, Turvey, that all stems from the fact that Wolford is not a dummy half. They haven't got a recognised active half in there, so therefore the passing game's not as
Two
crisp.
now.
They can't afford to get too wide.
2. Hands off.
Morris will play it back to Badiris. Here's Abraham.
Off now.
Just short of the halfway line.
Right here.
3.5 left in this first half. Parsons. Sensational opening 20, and again standing. Still going now, looking to link up with Badiris. They're all there. John Davis just waiting for the football. Rudder trying to put the right foot step on. Another good tackle by James Evans, who has crossed to the left-hand side of the park now, with Nagas playing on the right-hand side. A kick, the big banana from Joey, and it almost worked a treat for Mark Hughes.
They're a confident football side, the Newcastle team, and one of the reasons is their ability to back one another up and support. John's on the right-hand side of the field, just kicking the ball back. Hughes following the ball through. That had a bit more height on it.
Hold.
Hughes might have been able to get to the football and score.
A couple of things haven't quite come off for him this afternoon. The more you watch him, the more you get the impression he's playing a different game to the rest of them.
3. Straighten it up, Marcus.
Nagas will play it back to Lalesi. Finch made the bust that led to Canberra's only try. Tongue now
Off, Matt.
wrestling in the tackle of Parsons. Finch kicking behind Tahu, and this time he'll find the line without too much trouble. So going to force the Knights to work it away from a set play situation on their own 20. Probably be their last set of 6, unless they can come up with something. Get the ball back and take it down the length of the field to try and get another set of 6.
I didn't see it that way, but I'll have a look, okay?
Alan Tongue isn't quite happy about something.
Let's wait.
Tony Archer assures him that he'll keep an eye on it the next couple of minutes before the break, as Johns has it from the base of the scrum. Rudder, a step inside Joel Monaghan.
Wait.
Here's Newton, son of Jack, who also acts as his manager, which has the administration of the Knights worried as Clinton comes off contract at the end of the season. Jack known to drive a pretty hard bargain. Maybe looking for a few more dollars with his son now a regular first grader. Another poor pass from dummy half, and Johns is anything but pleased.
He certainly wasn't happy with that. Not a good pass by Danny Badiris. And John looks back.
Get in.
Not happy, Danny.
Just like we've... Hey, just wait. There you go.
Finch. There's the Raiders who will get the last shot at them here in this first half.
Clear one.
Shafovsky plays it back to the halfback. It comes to Monaghan. The brother Joel. Strong, sizable centre takes some bringing to ground.
Denny. Off.
Come back to the right-hand side. Here's Wolfgram. They stop him at the 30. They get a fast play the ball again, though, which will give Finch a little bit of space. He finds Nagas, who was almost through a gap. Johns was there to stop him, with the help also of Abraham. A switch play as Nagas dumps it backwards. It comes up to Finch, played out by the Knights. They've got 6 more. The clock will beat them. No, here's Shafovsky rolling it for Craker, who almost got there. The siren sounds to end the first half. It almost ends with a spectacular try to the Raiders. But the Knights have done very well to lead them at the break. Here in Newcastle, it's 18 points to 6. 3 tries in total to Newcastle. Just a lone try to the Raiders. It came from Brett Finch, who put in a lovely grubber then. And it took some desperate work by the Newcastle Knights to clean up. But they're certainly in this game, the Raiders. On a warm afternoon here in Newcastle, we'll take a break and come back with more in just a moment. The home side leading by 12. Shafosky has the ball placed. And get us back underway in this second half at EnergyAustralia Stadium. Another high kick-off, similar to the one that Johns came up with in the first half. And the Knights really took a chance then by allowing that ball to bounce. It could really have gone anywhere off its point. Perhaps even back to the Raiders. A forward pass, I thought, from Parsons to Gidley. Play on as Johns has it now. Tahu in support. He puts a kick in over the top. Also flying through is Danny Badiris. Valesi is coming to get him, but Badiris beat him. Just like that, the Newcastle Knights.
Danny Badiris is onside.
Tony Archer, as do the referees on any kicking try these days, wants to take a look and see if the player who came through to score was onside. It was a spectacular piece of play, a beautifully weighted kick by Andrew Johns. No doubt about Badiris being onside, but I had a very big doubt about a Parsons pass which set the whole thing off deep inside their own 20.
Well, he had a good view of it, Tony Archer. And unfortunately the call went against the Raiders. I too thought it was a forward pass, but great work by Johns. He just hung off and hung off. He made Shafosky commit to him, and then the ability to put the ball where he wanted it to. He had the speed man on the inside backing up.
Now again, John Gosha will have the decision. It would seem to be a fairly clear-cut one. It is a try. Danny Badiris, who chased down the middle of the park. What a start for Michael Hagan and his side inside the first 30 seconds of the second half. And they've extended this lead, 22 points to 6. Here's this pass again from Parsons to Gidley. I've got no doubt it was forward.
It was about 2 metres forward, that Warren. Unbelievably, the referee has missed it. He was in a great position, but you need luck in this football game. And the Knights have certainly taken advantage of that.
They certainly do. This is absolute class. Andrew Johns not panicking with the ball in his hand. He sees the two Knights players inside him. Danny Badiris is pretty quick off the mark. Just puts a beautiful little kick in. It bounces before the try line, and the momentum. He gets the ball, hand on the ball, on the ground, and it's a 4-pointer.
And Johns again from fairly close range to the uprights. To make this a healthy lead for the locals. He does exactly that. And in the blinking of an eye, it's 24 points to 6 here in Newcastle. The Knights over the Raiders.
Well, this is certainly going to test the Raiders' character now, Laurie Daly. That try just basically was a gift in the first minute of play. Now it's going to be a measure of their, I guess, their character, their strength, their mental determination to come back into this game. We've still got almost half a football left.
I think you mentioned it, Turvey, the mental preparation that's gone into the game, and this is where the mental toughness sets in. They look up on the scoreboard, they're 18 points behind, playing a quality outfit.
Clear Raiders now.
And they realise that they have to be great for this next 38 minutes, where the Knights could rack up plenty more.
The Raiders force Parsons toward the sideline here. Tahoe giving it off to Clint Newton. Trio of Raiders there to stop his progress inside his own 30. Here's O'Brien. A good gain of about 12. Now Badiris. Johns just in behind the play. The ball there. Wolfgram was offside.
And he doesn't go 10. I'll get it, Andrew.
They almost worked the play as Simon Wolford looks on with that nasty cut on the cheek. He's had some problems in recent seasons, hasn't he? Shoulder injury has dogged his last couple of years in the NRL. And now spending a lot of time in enemy territory today on the sideline. Here's Parsons. Tackle at the Canberra 20. Looking for back-to-back tries here. Newton now takes it midfield towards the post. He'll play it there, about 12 out.
Greg.
Badiris goes to the left-hand side. Rudder. He has Abraham backing up on the inside. Morris feed it off to O'Brien. Johns is there lurking. Perhaps the next play is his. Here's O'Davis. He goes wide. Bypass Gidley, who looked as though he had to score had the pass come from the fullback. Badiris to Johns. Flat pass, decoy rather. Morris plays it. Here's Johns, rubbering again. It's a kicking exhibition at the moment from him. Manuel cleans up inside his own in goal. And once again, the Newcastle Knights will have 6 more tackles. The Raiders just can't get the ball.
Well, he just works it so well, Andrew. John's got plenty of a time. And you notice the opposition, they hang off him on the line. They think if they rush him, he might step back on the inside. That's why he's so dangerous. He can run the football or put the ball back in the in goal and get a repeat set of 6.
The only Canberra player to touch it so far in the second half is the man who has it now. As Jason Croker comes to the bench, Clinton Shafovsky gets us underway once again. Good kick. Beat Robbie O'Davis, a clean bowled him in fact. And here's Parsons going all the way back inside his own 30 to clean it up. Terrific result for the Raiders, and they need a few of them. Johns to Rudder, who straightens. Abraham was there again. Another penalty.
Second grab. There you go.
Alan Tongue penalised on this occasion. The Raiders can't take a trick with Tony Archer at the moment, can they?
Quite frankly, I didn't know if they wanted that penalty. They really had the Raiders on the back foot there, but nevertheless, they're in a prime position now, 20 metres out from the Raiders line.
Here's O'Brien inside the Canberra 20. Abraham. Just 11 away now as he'll play it back to Badiris. He goes to Johns. Numbers there to stop the half-back. Here's O'Davis. Badiris onto Newton. He's got Gedley with him. Something to look for his own second try. Stopped a metre short. Badiris to O'Brien. Rudder. He headed towards the post. Johns is screaming for it at first receiver on the left-hand side. That's where it goes. Wide pass. He put Hughes on the outside of the player. It came to Anthony Quinn. There was a forward pass, and this time Tony Archer gets this one.
Well, that was great work there by the Raiders defending their line. They're numbering up really well. The Knights are looking to shift the ball, but it has to be. The Knights have had all this possession in the second half, and now the Raiders get their first chance, and Simon Wolford looks like making a return onto the football field.
He'll be fresh, no doubt about that. There's a bonus for the Raiders. Still more than half an hour left, and after what we saw yesterday, and the Storm came from 20 down at the break to beat the Eels. I think the Raiders are only 18 down. They're right in it, aren't they?
They've got to turn it around. They've got to get some quality ball. They've got to get good field position.
Coming, Sean, you're off.
Evans plays it. They're working up towards the halfway line. Oh, O'Hara had broken the line and then coughed it up.
I've got a good view of that, mate. He drops it.
The Raiders were appealing for a rake out. Simon Wolford vehement his appeal to the referee. You'll see there. Could have gone either way, that one.
Yeah, I think it was just bad luck. The frustrations there, Ryan O'Hara showing.
Let's get in.
Again, the Knights get the ball just inside their own half. Again, another opportunity for them.
O'Davis. Taken by Finch, who just travelled across the park with him. Abraham now.
Stand up.
Badiris going down the blind side, was able to beat Finch. Comes to Shafovsky, who saves a try for them. He'll play it back to Morris now. Through the hands it comes. Here's Johns to Gidley. Ball back for Tahu. Stepping, dancing, reaching out. Did he get it down?
Just want to check the grounding, mate.
We will find out. Tahu isn't entirely convinced he did. We didn't have a great angle of it as we watched it live. This will show it though. He didn't. He got very close. He lost it.
He did lose that ball, I think. Warren and Laurie.
No try, and it will be a 20-metre restart for a knock-on in the in goal. The Raiders will get a rare sniff of possession here in this second half so far.
Just on that with Tamana Tahu not getting that try, having it disallowed. What about Matthew Gidley? He's just such a wonderful player. He's got time on his side. Here's Simon Wolford now running. This is what the Raiders need to do, Laurie.
Down the middle of the park. almost back to the halfway line. So play the ball as O'Brien held him down.
Straight in, get the jump at marker. 3. Waiting. Get up, Matt. Wait there, Brett. Wait.
And the previous
Hey,
one was a
Brett,
slow one.
Just relax. Simon, tell him to relax.
And on this occasion, I don't think he's going to relax because they're just outside the Newcastle 20. That's where they'll tap it. Finch comes back to O'Hara.
Knight.
Big contact from Parsons to stop him. A flat pass from Wolford for Wiki, who reaches out.
I want to check whether he's grounding and a double movement, mate.
Double movement for sure. Hands on the body. Knees and the elbows were on the ground, then he crawled.
Isn't it marvellous how they've come alive with Simon Wolford, number 9. Good ball offload there. Here's Wiki, this will tell us.
Gee, the tackle wasn't as effective as I thought it was first up here from Clinton O'Brien. He has contact with Ruben Wiki. I'm not sure how effective it was. Well, he's thereabouts. I thought it was a double movement for sure. I was with you, Laurie, watching it live, but this one could go either way as well.
Yeah, I thought it was a dead set double movement. This one will tell us when his arm touches the ground, contact. Oh, that's a 50-50 really.
Well, Danny Badiris thought he wasn't tackled. Matt Parsons falling over him, got up again to try to stop Ruben Wiki, so that may be a sign that he wasn't tackled. Certainly gets the ball down, but was it a double movement? That's obviously the...
We saw Fafita Moala denied one yesterday for the Storm in the dying minutes against the Eels, a very similar play. And on this occasion, John Gosher agrees with our video referee of yesterday, Graham West, that that's a double movement. The Knights will get the penalty.
I've got to ask though, the benefit of the doubt, does that go to the attacking player? I know we've seen a couple this season and they tend to go to the defending team.
Had to be a fair bit of doubt about both those examples we've seen so far this weekend. O'Brien was certainly there and in contact with Ruben Wiki. And obviously John Gosher has ruled that that was enough to have affected a tackle, especially since Wiki's elbow carrying the ball came back in contact with the ground once again before he reached out. So John Gosher there.
And you would think
the letter of the law, Laurie, within his rights to penalise him.
Yeah, you would think though if the Raiders were any chance of winning this game, then they have to get those decisions to go their way. I don't think you can really get down the opposition's, this Newcastle side, and turn the ball over and give away a penalty.
Knock on from Canberra. No way, that ball goes back off him. It's knocked down from Ruben Wiki and he knows. Just ask him.
Have a chat, Archer. He's in it again.
That's a bit of bad luck for the Raiders. It wasn't a good pass by the Knights. It was a shocking pass. Rather come in to try to save it. And it comes off Ruben Wiki. He has a grab at it. The ball does go. It's a knock on.
Here's Finch. He's getting tackled. What a man, he used to be the ball boy for Johns. Now Monaghan comes to James Evans. Stands and gives it back to Michael Monaghan. Getting some offloads away. They need to crack the line though. Here's Nagus. Another offload. Comes back to Ruben Wiki. He popped it up for Jamal Alessi. He got to the line, but he get it down. We're up for the video ref again.
Yeah, grounding only. I had the legs in front of him.
Jamal Alessi has bounced up. All the swagger of a heavyweight world title fight winner. Well, the ball might have just come loose though was it knocked out perhaps by Danny Badiris, and then Alessi was able to get it down again. No, in fact, Badiris didn't have a hand near it. It's gone so close, but yet so far.
I reckon it's close to a try. Oh no,
he's lost it too.
He's lost the ball.
Yep.
That angle there shows you he did lose the ball and then he puts his hand on it. So really it's a knock on.
And unfortunately for the Raiders, the last two times they've been down, they've had 2 tries disallowed. They look dangerous, and Turvey, you mentioned it, Simon Wolford out of dummy half certainly gives his team an attacking option. See a lost ball, 2-metre restart for the Newcastle Knights.
Clinton Schafowski wasn't all that happy. He spiked the ball down with some sort of fury. He was waiting to place the ball.
Just settle down, mate. Simon, I need you as captain. I don't want you blowing up. Okay, mate.
Well, may have a case in a couple of other instances this afternoon, but on that occasion, that was a pretty clear-cut one. Alessi lost the ball as he was about to place it down. A little bit of frustration coming out of the Raiders, and a good run, as you say, Laurie, from Matt Parsons. What an afternoon he's had. Has dominated the middle of the park for the Newcastle Knights. O'Davis. Here's Kennedy. Still warming up to something like his best form in 2002 after an injury-interrupted start to the season. Simpson now. Coming at them. And he plays it just outside the 30. Johns has been content to kick for most of the afternoon. Another good one. Oh, Manuel's had a nightmare here. Getting through was Mark Hughes. He might have got a hand, and in fact, he scored a try for the locals.
Well, that's unbelievable what Odell Manuel has just done there. He's had all the time in the world to come across and get on that football. John's just putting the football back to his left. You see Manuel coming. The Knights chasers are on him and waiting to see what the football does instead of attacking it. And Mark Hughes, what a player he's been for Newcastle over the years. It's all started here, Turvey. Matt Parsons had a great game today.
He's had a ripper of a game, just making some good yardage. Again, he set up the opportunity for Andrew Johns on the right side of the field. He sees on the left-hand side of the field there's plenty of Knights inside. Kicks the ball, banana kick style. But I do agree with you. The Raiders should not have let that try been scored.
Well, they seem to have had it covered fairly comfortably. And Odell Manuel had one get away from him high in the air last week against the Tigers. Struggling on the ground then on that occasion as well. Johns, another 2 for his tally. As he approaches the 1,500 point mark, he's kicked 5 from 5 this afternoon. He came in with 1,484 points this afternoon. And now he's just 6 away from becoming the 8th player to score 1,500 points in the top grade. At in excess of 17,000 here this afternoon. EnergyAustralia Stadium. Matt Parsons gets another earned break back on the bench. He's beside a fairly good front rower himself in the shape of the former Knight, Mark Sargent. Now the football manager for the Newcastle club.
Held there. Look, wait with me.
Jared O'Doherty, the player, comes on in 18 to take the place of Parsons. It's his first chance this afternoon. Here's Perry. Running at them in waves now, these Newcastle big men, and it opens up this side of the paddock for Johns and runner to weave their stuff. Johns bouncing away from Wolford. Fires a 20-metre spiral pass to O'Doherty.
3, stand up.
Badiris looking for options. Finds O'Davis, which is always a pretty good one.
Well, their support play is great, Warren. Every time they go from dummy half, the numbers keep going forward. Therefore, they've got the opportunity to offload.
Kennedy. The ball high up for Anthony Quinn, who was under all sorts of pressure to take it.
They get a spring in their step, don't they, when they realise that they can put points on the board, this Newcastle team. You see the spring come. Bang, Johns wants to get involved, and Badiris goes, well, I'll have a go from dummy half. Kennedy gets wide. Wonderful attacking effort.
And Laurie, cleverly,
Get the heads in seconds. Get it in, Terry, in you go.
well, cleverly, Michael Hagan has introduced a lot of, I guess, new faces or fresh faces. You've got
Off, John,
Clinton
John.
Newton, you've got the likes of Jared O'Doherty, Anthony Quinn, and they're fitting into this champion side really well. So he's being very clever in introducing them early in the season.
And while they haven't bought anyone, Turvey, I think you're spot on. I think the young guys, they got a little bit of taste last year, but now they're regular first graders and they're benefiting from it.
Evans runs at the Knights. Stop him there, Johns and Rudd of the halves combining. The 35 out the Raiders. The game has ebbed away from them here in this second half, as the Knights have scored 2 unanswered tries and converted both of them. Here's Shafovsky, trying to put on something himself, almost a rugby union kick and chase. Came backwards off O'Davis, and Johns will have it barely in the field of play.
It's good work there by Clinton Shafosky, but the guy that has looked dangerous, and it's good to see him back on the football field, is Ken Nagus for the Canberra Raiders. Still looking like he needs a couple of games under his belt, but I think he'll be a benefit and a bonus to this Raiders side if he can produce a couple of back-to-back games.
Here's Simpson. Stopped inside the Newcastle 20. Done well here, the Raiders' defence. Tahu hasn't seen a lot of it this afternoon. Comes midfield to get a touch of the ball. And now Johns under pressure from Finch.
Great kick, that. Just got the ability to find ground every time he goes. The long kick, the short kick. Fullbacks, it must be a nightmare.
Hill one, off. Josh.
Interchange 8 for the Raiders, 13.
Wolfers. Michael Hodgson.
2, away.
Tackled just short of the halfway line, midway through this second half. And the Knights are out by 24.
3 step from me, Knights. Wait in.
Terry Martin getting back in behind the ruck there, trying to open up perhaps a blind side for them. Wolford goes the open side, trying to chip and chase himself. Josh Perry has it. Here come the Knights. There's trouble here. Kennedy running away from them. Stepping again, coming back to the left-hand side. He's got Oates Davis. He comes to the Lessie. The pass goes to ground. Picked up by Abraham.
1.
They're 25 outs.
Goes to a 0.
They're turning it on now as Johns gives it off to O'Doherty. Out the back. Back to Johns again. A pass to Tahu. How good are they? They've made it look so easy on the turnover. They knew there was something happening on the left-hand side. They come back to the right-hand side. A little bit of sleight of hand from O'Doherty, gave it back to Johns. And Tahu strolled across for the easiest of 4-pointers.
Well, Wolford did try a chip kick, and the front rower, Josh Perry, gets the football. No, I won't just take it forward. I'll look to counter-attack straight away. He does that going to the left to Ben Kennedy, and then here comes the cavalry. O'Davis always in support. 2 guys overrunning the football, but Abraham, the second wave of attack coming through, a quick play of the ball. Then it was Johns getting involved, doubling around O'Doherty, and then a lovely 3-on-2, bang, the cut out straight to Tahu, and he just ambles over.
Yeah, that's very clever stuff by Andrew Johns. Tamara Tahu scoring the try, but Andrew Johns showing some great foresight there, cutting out Matthew Gidley. Had a 3-on-2, then it was 2-on-1. Tahu scores the try.
And Johns from wide out, looking to keep his perfect record intact this afternoon. As we said, now just 6 points away from joining that 1,500-point club. Some famous names amongst the players who have that tally in their pocket. What a strike it is. Those names include Eric Sims, Graham Langlands, Graham Eadie. And that man right there is one of amongst the best we've ever seen. 36 points to 6. Have to be up there at the moment in the voting, as would Matt Parsons, the front rower, who has been terrific for the locals. But it takes it from the kickoff. It comes back to Perry, who straight through them. Wolfgram is there, who brought him down from behind. A good thing too, because Morris was looming. Here's Kennedy going down that left-hand side himself. 2 tackles, and they're back inside Canberra territory. Simpson. Perry hit the ground very hard after being brought down from behind by Wolfgram. He's still there on the ground. Here's O'Doherty again. 2 tackles left. They've almost gone the length of the field here from the kickoff as runner goes to them. Almost got in behind James Evans. And the last tackle, Gidley will fit it to Johns. Another grubber off the boot. It comes to Shafovsky, and then he's hemmed in by the Knights.
Well, that was great work there by the Raiders to take that ball on the last tackle. But what a play by Josh Perry from the kickoff, and he is in all sorts of agony in the back play. I'm pretty sure they'll stop the play here in a minute and get the Medicab or the stretcher out on the field. Looks as though he's got a serious injury to his leg.
Stay there, then right down.
He has not moved since hitting the ground. There's a problem with his leg here. see the trainer there removing the left boot already from him. Ground going very quickly. Might have just twisted that ankle rather severely. With Wolfgram hanging on around the legs as he brought him down. Here it is again.
Great tackle. Let's hope it's not broken. But what about the acceleration for the big fellas too, Laurie Daly?
Just wonderful play by Josh Perry. He played Country of Origin last year, was identified as one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the game.
I'm sure Michael Hagan will be biting his knuckles that hopefully it's not a bone. That's the problem, but perhaps just some ligament damage around that ankle area. But what about his acceleration for the size of the guy?
Finch. His play restarts, but comes to Croker. Finch again, pass to Terry Martin under pressure. There was nowhere for the bench player to go. He was set upon immediately as Wolford gets the kick away from dummy half. A long one as well. And it's Quinn who, with the help of O'Davis, will bring it back. And had Tahu outside him with a lead of 30 now and just 15 to go. And probably look to attack at every occasion.
We're going to change 11 for Newcastle at number 9, Danny Medeiros.
Off now, Simon.
Play at 9, sort of the halfway line. Johns. Flat pass. Running onto it was Abraham. A long way with it himself. Wolfgram again down low to stop him. Kennedy down the short side. There's Hughes all to Quinn. It was almost a replica of what we saw in the first half when Quinn was able to get away.
And a replica of last week against the New Zealand Warriors. Mark Hughes down that left-hand side.
The Fox fan poll, those lines are open. Just reminding you once again, 0419 675 666. Vote now for your Fox man of the match.
Get the foot back, Newcastle.
SMS us his name on 0419 675 666. Shafovsky.
Off now,
He has it for the Raiders on the first tackle. Similar position to where they've spent most of the second half. They really have had only a couple of attacking chances in this second half. Wesley, of course, went close to scoring on one occasion, as did Wiki before him. Michael Hodgson, a former Eel now,
stand up.
takes it into Newcastle territory. Finch to Wiki again.
Last one, Andrew, away.
Finch finds Croker, who goes past James Evans, and then it's put on the toe by Joel Monaghan. Another high ball. Davis didn't want to know too much about it. Towed by Ryan O'Hara. It comes to Greg Wolfgram. He floats a pass which was forward. I thought for a moment that Tony Archie was going to say play on. There's no doubt it was forward.
Way you go.
He saw it though, and the Knights have it. John slips the pass quickly from dummy half for Mark Hughes. O'Doherty. Just inside his own 30, he'll play it. The Knights will now start to look toward their opponents next week as Gidley comes down this short side.
They've handled him very well today, Matthew Gidley. He hasn't had that many opportunities, although he's looked quality every time he's received the football. The Raiders haven't committed in.
Here's Rudder. Simpson now. Wrapped up in the tackle. Speaking of their opponents next week, they take on the Roosters at Aussie Stadium. That will be a big game for the Roosters. Of course, they were knocked out in the final series last year here, this particular ground, by the Knights. That will still be fresh in their memories. Here's Martin. Hodgson straightens as he takes it outside the Canberra Raiders 30. Benny Medeiros comes back on as Morris goes back to the bench for the Knights. And Wolford feeds O'Hara from dummy half. Finch will go high into the air again. Happy to test out O'Davis under the high ball. And again, Didn't show a lot of confidence under it. He was under no pressure at all. In the end, just thought the better of it. Luckily for him, took the hop he needed and went over the dead ball line.
He's been great though, Robbie O'Davis, supporting the ball carrier continually this afternoon as the Knights look to attack straight away.
Gidley trying to hold off Joel Monahan there. Here's Simpson.
With the foot, Steve.
Been able to match it this afternoon with the likes of Matt Parsons.
Wait.
And before that, Josh Perry, before he was taken from the field. It's been pretty good, though, to start the season in the first 3 games. As they turn it over now, Wolfgram has it.
I'll tell you who's followed on the mantle, Jared O'Doherty, when he's come onto the football field, has offloaded some lovely passes again. O'Davis sniffing, unfortunately went to ground.
Finch will get away from Ben Kennedy.
Wait here, get up.
He'll play it back to Shafovsky. They're just 30 out, the Raiders. See if they can add to their tally from half-time, but they won't with balls like that from Tyron Smith, who has spent a good portion of this game on the bench. He's made a mistake since coming back onto the field there. Here's Abraham now. We count down to the 10-minute mark. Just cruising at the moment.
Lead the ball. Let it go.
Steve Simpson.
Here's O'Brien. He takes it up to them.
Don't lift it, Terry.
Down to the tackle.
Play the ball.
Play it back to Badiris. Down the short side they go. Badiris almost got away. Bounces back to his feet. Going again. Comes to Shafovsky. A ball back on the inside for Hughes. He can make it number 2 for him. Very simple stuff. They had Badiris. They lost him somehow. He jumped out of the net. And Hughes was the benefactor.
Well, that try there shows what a quality player Denny Badiris is. The defensive line was only back about 6 metres. And he went straight through Terry Martin and Greg Wolfgram. Then the ability to get up, go again, and then a lovely pass here back on the inside to Mark Hughes. The defensive line was only back 5 metres. He had no right to make a break there.
Well, Laurie, he's a very classy player, Jenny Badiris. He gets up again. Any classy, we should run the ball. He's got the hand, he's right there, but turns the ball back into Mark Hughes. Great support play, but really the catalyst for the guy that kicked that try off was certainly Danny Badiris. He's had a wonderful game. And also, you said before, like, he had a little bit of a spell. John Morris comes on. So Michael Hagan has introduced successfully a lot of new recruits early in the season. So it all looks good for the Knights as the season matures.
Andrew Johns on this occasion misses, and he's absolutely filthy about it as well. Spoils his perfect record with the boot this afternoon. The Knights have racked up 40 points. Again, they've been averaging 40 points through the first 3 games this season. They beat the Eagles 38-12 to kick it off at North Power. And they beat the Cowboys here 50-18. And then last Monday, of course, in New Zealand, a 32-14 scoreline against the Warriors. Shafovsky with the short kick-off down the middle of the park. It sort of sums up the afternoon, doesn't it? Badiris just beats Warford to the ball. Here's Hughes. Sniffing for a hat-trick now down that left-hand side. That's where they go. A forward pass to Ben Kennedy. He wrapped it around from the open side. Quinn threw the ball to him, but it was slightly forward.
Put it in. I have to wait. Right?
Here's Monahan, bouncing away from the runner tackle.
Keep coming, Danny, keep coming.
Wolford comes to O'Hara, who knocks it on.
Double ways.
There'll be a knock on both ways against the Knights also.
Well, it summed up their afternoon for the Raiders. Just turning the ball over to this quality team, the Newcastle Knights. They've tried hard today, the Raiders. Just unfortunately, their skill level has been average at times.
Let's go.
Laurie, they have tried
Put it in,
hard.
Andrew. Put it in.
They certainly have tried hard, but Matt Elliott must be asking himself a heap of questions about where they're going wrong. And I've got to say, Laurie, that there's plenty of good players in that Raiders side. There's plenty of strike power, but they can't seem to build a platform to launch their attack. They really play in patches, and they've got great strike players like the Crokers or the Wickies of the world, but when they get the ball, they're either flat or there's plenty of defenders around them, so they can't really coordinate a good, solid attacking foundation.
Here's Kennedy. Oh, magic pass to O'Davis. They've got numbers there. The fullback can't get it to them, though. Here's Medeiros. They're at the 30. Johns hasn't crossed himself. He needs a try for 1,500 points in the top grade. Abraham on a monster his way over the top of Canberra tacklers. They'll get a penalty here. And this will give Johns a chance to go deep on the attack. They'll tap it. Here's O'Brien. They take him just 10 out from their own line.
Get off!
Rudder to the left. Johns to the right. They go to Rudder. Comes back this way to Newton. Through Medeiros to Johns. Hard flat ball for Abraham. They stop him a couple of metres away. And the fans will rise and give Johns an ovation if he can cross here to score number 1,500. He's at first receiver now. Has Wicking in front of him between the posts. Hasn't taken them on too many times this afternoon. Doesn't on this occasion either. Newton spins.
Get off, Jace.
As Johns goes to first receiver again, this time on the left-hand side. Cut-out ball for Kennedy. He turns it back on the inside. Count them, 1, 2, and 3 for Mark Hughes. A hat-trick for the Novocastrian.
Well, the possession have just told in the second half. The Knights have had all the ball. The Raiders really out on their feet. In that case, it was just a combination of Kennedy and Hughes down that left-hand side. Just a late cross. Number 3 for Hughes.
Well, the beauty about the Knights is they've got a lot of good ball players. Not just Andrew Johns, they've got Sean Rudder who can also play with the ball. They stand wide, they stand deep, and they play the number game absolutely perfect. A nice little cross there. They really are an entertaining side. There's the most points scored of all time. Jason Taylor up the top there, and Andrew Johns. I'm coming to chase you, boys.
Didn't take too much time with the kick also. He knew how many points he needed before the game to join that 1,500 club. We're talking about it before the names of Sims, of course, Langlands, Eading, Keith Barnes. He finished with 1,519 old golden boots. And Jason Taylor, who broke Darryl Halligan's record, sits on top, 2,107 points. Well, there's time left for Joey to cap it with a try. He's been happy to distribute, offload and kick, throw cutout passes this afternoon. A short kickoff. Shafovsky's keen to give the Newcastle Knights a chance to take it in good position, but they've come up with it here through Joel Monahan. Here's Croker. The Raiders gave up 54 here last year. They only trailed by 12 with the break. It's been very much one-way traffic in this second stanza.
Well, they've improved. They've only let in 46 in this game so far. They've
This
tried
time,
hard.
Here's Evans. A short ball for Joel Monahan. Will he reach out? He's held up and then pushed back. No, he's not.
Tackle at the scrum.
Held up in the in goal. It will be a scrum from the 10.
He's gone well today, Joel Monahan. He's handled Matthew Gidley sensationally. And when he's had the opportunity with the football in his hands, he's run strongly. That time there, you can see the desperation of the Knights, although there's only 2 minutes to go in this game, wanting to keep their try line intact, keep it to the least amount of points as possible.
That's a good point you brought up early in the first half too, Laurie.
Kennedy's off, put your head in.
Where the Knights get to an early lead and they can off the second off, this half they have not. They've gone right on with it, and that'll be certainly pleasing to their coach, Michael Hagan.
Nagus has it for the Raiders. 10 out from the Newcastle line. Finch, cut out ball, intercepted, taken by Gidley, who gives it off to Tahu. Just under 90 seconds left. And they'll have a chance as they'll spread it very wide. It bounces up for Johns. There's another long ball. Here's a chance for Hughes. He might be looking for number 4. He gives it back. It comes to Rudder. Back to Hughes. He's got Davis in support. He sets sail for the line. And they finish with one to send them home cheering. They are freestyling out in front. You can make it 50 points for the Newcastle Knights.
Well, it was great play by the Newcastle side, and unfortunately, it's happened while Kenny Nagus has gone down injured. On the previous play, Nagus was tackled. He got up gingerly. He looks like he's leaving the field holding his knee. He just fell in behind the defensive line, and from there they were short, the Raiders. The Knights realised this. They went down that side of the field, and then the support play. Robbie O'Davis has been fantastic all day and just caps off a great game with a 4-pointer.
There he is doing his freestyle and surfing, what Joey Johns did this morning before playing this game today. Robbie O'Davis, he's been a veteran for the Knights. He's been a great player. Anticipates play very well. For the Knights, they're just a great side.
And Andrew Johns from just beside the post with a kick to join the 1,500 club. That'll do it. What a way to finish it here in Newcastle. Congratulations, Andrew Johns. 8th all-time on the point-scoring record list. 1,500 points now in his career. What a season he's having. He could set all sorts of records this season if he maintains the pace he set in the first 4 games. No tries for him this afternoon, but he kicked 8 goals and he finishes on number 1,500. And he joins that list, which includes Barnes, Langlands, Sims and Eadie, as we said, the Crow, Michael Cronin, who sits 3rd all-time behind Halligan, and also Jason Taylor. What a player he is, what a team they are, and they have beaten the Canberra Raiders here this afternoon by another big scoreline, their biggest margin ever against the Raiders. A final scoreline of 52 points to 6 here at EnergyAustralia Stadium. Didn't they turn it on in the second half? Matt Parsons, he had a wow of a game, and he is the Fox Fan Poll Man of the Match. The fans have voted, and they have said the big front rower laid the foundation for them. He was terrific early on and also in this second half. And Joey Johns, what a game he played. Didn't take them on, but he certainly laid on so many tries this afternoon through the hands or with the boot. And there it is. What a list of players that is. Taylor, Halligan, Cronin and Eadie. Sims, the famous Rabbitoh. Changu was there as well with golden boots. And now Joey. What will we call him? Perhaps the best ever before by the time he's finished. It might well turn out to be the case. There you see the full-time scoreline. 52 to 6. Hughes picked up a hat-trick. Abraham, Simpson, Newton, Vidiris, Tahu and O'Davis. Johns kicked 8 from 9, while for the Raiders, Martin scored their lone try and Shafovsky kicked the 1 goal. That'll do it this afternoon from Newcastle. On behalf of Laurie Daly and Steve Mortimer, I'm Warren Smith. Thanks for joining us. It is goodbye from EnergyAustralia Stadium.
This has been a Fox Sports production for the National Rugby League Partnership.